Welcome to Campfire Wisdom. Grab a seat around the fire and tell us your story.
Live from Fraser Park, it's Saturday night.
This fire's raging.
Yeah, man. Welcome back, everybody. We are at McGill Campground once again. Campground number 66. And this is going to be probably the last camping trip of the season. It's October 21st. It's starting to get a little chilly. And I guess they're going to be closing this up by the end of the month, maybe even before next weekend. So they could get a call at any time. Close her down. I'm here with Klaus and Marian. What's up?
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. Well, really bummed. Like, we just turned the microphone after we said some pretty spooky shit.
Yeah, true.
But it was funny how it started because we listened to this other podcast called Spooked that Greg introduced us to. It was really awesome. They tell like haunted stories, but they're like real, apparently. And we were talking about empathy or being susceptible to those things, or like some people are more prone to experience, the supernatural. And you immediately said you didn't. And then you changed your mind and said you did. And then he offered us some pretty cool stories.
Yeah, well, the things that I've experienced are like, was I dreaming? And no one else is there
They
to
were
have
like
seen
sightings.
the
They were
same thing?
sightings.
Exactly.
Do you want to recap that?
Yeah,
the
I think I
audience?
will, actually. So, basically, to make a long story short, I was at my buddy's girlfriend's house. She was getting ready to go out. We were all getting ready to go out. I was sitting in a chair that on my right-hand side, there's a hallway that I could see down the hallway. And I happened to see out of the corner of my eye like a guy like walking, a greaser dude. So he's got a white t-shirt on with like rolled sleeves and jeans. And he walks from one of the bedrooms into the bathroom. And it's the same bathroom where his girlfriend's getting ready. And she's got the hairdryer on. So I'm like, what the hell? So I get up and look and like walk over there, and nobody's in the bathroom with her. And I go back and sit down, and then I grab my buddy when he's coming out, and I'm like, oh my God, bro, you're not going to believe. And he's like, yeah, let me guess. It was like a greaser dude. I was like, yes. And he's like, yeah, don't say anything. He's like, it's just going to freak her out. And so I was like, what the fuck? So, I mean, I had 2 beers, but I was 19 years old. I've had 2 beers. I wasn't like wasted or anything, but that was kind of a trip.
I don't think anybody usually has visions when they're wasted.
Yeah.
That's not a side effect. And 2 beers does not wasted one make.
I've blacked out and not seen fucking greasers.
Yeah, true.
It's a very specific ghost that
It's very
I've never
specific.
seen. Like, usually it's ghosts from like a much earlier time, like the mid 1800s or something.
Yeah. And then the other instance was I was 10 years old. Well, actually, I was less than 10, because here's an embarrassing story I'm going to admit on a fucking podcast. I sucked my thumb until I was 10 years old. Yep.
Did
That
it
was
affect
me.
your teeth?
I did too.
Okay, hey, there you go.
10, honey?
Yeah,
10.
that's why I have an overbite.
Yeah, same.
My teeth have an overbite because I sucked my thumb for so long that it like fucked up my mouth.
You know what's funny? I had an overbite until I got hit in the mouth with a baseball bat, and it fixed my
Right.
teeth.
Oh, no orthodontist necessary.
Yeah, I know, not necessary. I still have the
Okay.
one snaggle tooth that kind of tells you where my teeth were.
You got decent teeth. They're
Yeah,
good. They're in the
they're not
right
bad.
place, That's hard to do.
Not bad.
Usually people spend thousands and thousands of dollars for that.
True. But, so back to the story. I'm 10 years old. We are at the YMCA camp, and I think it's outside of Tucson. I don't even remember where it's in. I think it's, anyways, outside Tucson, Arizona, YMCA camp. And I'm irritated because I'm supposed to be at the camp with 2 of my buddies, Adam and Ike. They both bone out last minute, so I'm literally going there by myself. we were at this campfire that night, and we're on like one of the adults was talking about how the land that we're on and in the mountains close by and everything is kind of sacred Indian grounds, like burial grounds and stuff. And he was telling us some spooky stories and all that kind of stuff. So at the end of the night, go to bed, and because I sucked my thumb, I was very aware and embarrassed that I needed that to go to sleep. So the entire week I was there, I would stay up until all the kids in my cabin were asleep, and then I would roll over, suck my thumb, and go to sleep. So I'm laying in bed waiting for this to happen, and there are several windows in the cabin, but where I can see to my right, there's one that's kind of high that you could maybe is like a vent. It's not really a window, and the other one's a window, but it's not like you could see someone's full body. You could just see their probably upper torso part of it. So I see in that tiny window across the room like a light, and I'm like, where could another light be? So that creeped me out also, because I knew I was awake. No one from my fucking cabin left, and the adult was in there sleeping. So what the fuck? So then that light is moving, and it goes to the other window, and then full on I see like a glowing like Indian. It's like a spirit Native American. And that was pretty fucking crazy. Now, granted, maybe I was already asleep at that time and I dreamed it. We had been talking about stories, Indian burial ground shit at the campfire. Maybe I dreamed that or hallucinated, but that felt fucking real. I was terrified. And then at the same time, I definitely sucked my thumb to nurture me back to sleep that night. But so those are moments where it's like, I feel like I'd want something to be corroborated that it was someone else experienced the same thing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So,
well, you didn't.
Yeah.
It's just you.
Just me.
Your 10-year-old imagination.
I know. Maybe.
It's hard we don't know everything we can possibly know about the brain, and how much of it is projection of something that was like implanted in us. Like if the person telling that story was like creating an image for you, and you were afraid of seeing it and you saw it, or...
Right. Could I have manifested it? Maybe I was conscious and I created the vision, or who knows what,
The creepiest stuff, that was when you have a partner see something with you.
Right.
You got a story?
I don't see shit.
No?
No, I don't see shit. I think I'm just a dense human being. I just fucking sleep and wake up. Sometimes I dream weird shit, but Marian over here goes on vision quests and stuff, and I guess I'm not made from that. I don't know. I have the falling dreams sometimes,
Okay.
I have nightmares and shit like regular people, but I don't like go places and do shit in my dreams.
You work hard and you're tired.
I think so.
Yeah.
You work yourself to the bone. I live in my head, and the generator stopped.
Yeah, just
So we're in this
quiet.
camping ground, and it's so dark. It's perfect because the moon's not out, and like you can see every star in the sky. And at one point we drove up to the higher part, like a 10-minute drive up, and laid in the middle of a field, and you could see every star. It's beautiful, but you can hear everything. It's so quiet, and if a generator's going on like those campers, it kind of kills it. But they just turned it off. It's really nice.
I know. Thank God. They have some etiquette. Camping
Yeah.
etiquette, man. Fuck.
Camping
it's so
etiquette
critical.
is very important.
I'd be the asshole that would just leave my fucking generator on.
No,
Oh.
Nick. I mean, what were they doing? Just watching TV? I guess.
Maybe. Did I ever tell you guys about that time where Alex and I camped next to those guys that were playing like speed metal all night?
Yeah. Sounds pretty bad.
It's like from like using a generator.
No. So Alex discovered this campground. So this is a great story. So it's called Lupine, and it's in the Los Angeles mountains. And there had been a rock slide, so it washed out the road. So you couldn't get back there, and probably no one had been back there for at least a year. But Alex had his truck, and he just happened to, oh shit, I can get around this. So got around it and found it, told me about it, and then we went back like the following weekend and camped there. And the first time we camped there was with Ross, and it was just Ross and I and Alex. It was fucking awesome. So we went back there again because nobody could get back there because you need a 4x4. There's no one in the entire campground, literally nobody. So we go back there again, and it's just Alex and I. We picked a spot, and we're just chilling. And all of a sudden, this like white Nissan truck comes up, and it's a 4x4 also. So we're like, fuck, great, there's someone else. So he pulls up, and right by our spot, stops and is like, hey man. It's like, hey, what's up? I'm like, what the fuck? Why is he stopping? Pick another spot. He's like, oh yeah man, we just came out here to celebrate my buddy's death. My buddy died a year ago, and I can't remember if it was a year or 2 years, but he's like, this is his favorite campsite, and we were just like, I think they wanted us to like offer it up to them, but I kind of thought they were bullshitting. But he's like, yeah, we nailed a $1 bill on the back of this tree. So Al and I go and look, and sure enough, he points it out, and there's a $1 bill that's like nailed to the tree still to this day. He's like, yeah. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, yeah, my buddy nailed that. His buddy was going through cancer treatment or something like that. So it was like kind of a sad story, but I don't know. It's like there wasn't a moment to like say, hey, why don't you take the site? It was just like, we had all our stuff set up already, but we were cool, and we offered them beer, and they ended up setting up right next to us, right?
I think you told us this.
I think I may have told you this.
Did you say this on the last podcast?
No, I've never told you guys. So,
it's good, guys.
It's good. Stick with it.
Yeah.
But so that is the setup there, right? So we're like kind of indebted to them a little bit. We kind of feel bad, but I don't know. Maybe we should have moved, but either way, we were being cool, and we were like, let's just share the night with them. So we walked over. We were like having beers with them and drinking. Well, these guys were fucking partiers. Like, they were using, like, they had beer salts. Like, they were putting these salts on their beer. They're all about it. They were just drinking and, like
the last people you would ever want to camp next to.
Yes. Yeah. So we're getting hammered, and we're all hammered. We're smoking, doing all that kind of stuff. And so we're blazed, and we're drunk. And so he opens up his truck, and he's playing just speed metal. It's like Megadeth and like any kind of fucking like, it's basically thrash metal through his car, just blasting it. And it's great because we're, sit by the fire, we're enjoying, we're talking.
Listening to thrash metal, how relaxing.
Yeah, in the forest, I know. But again, we've kind of felt indebted to them in some ways. So throughout the night, we're getting pretty hammered. Well, the dude, one of the guys, starts telling us that he was molested by his dad.
Oh, God.
So we've never met the guy before, but out of the blue, he just tells us, man, my dad, I fucking hate him. If he was here, I'd fucking kill him with this gun. And so he has a gun. So he shows us his gun and playing it out. And I have a gun, mind you, in my tent, but I'm not telling him I have a gun, right? Because I'm like, I'm not going to tell this guy I have a gun. Fuck that. Because I don't really know these dudes. So he's handling the gun.
Do you have a gun on you now?
What's that?
Do you have a gun on you now?
I have a gun on me now. It's in my tent.
God. Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
It's in your tent?
It's in my tent.
Holy shit.
Yeah, so you never know if you might need it.
Yeah,
so,
but what if somebody walked in your tent and took it on their behalf?
Yeah, well, that would be shitty.
God damn it, Greg. Fuck.
So.
Fuck the scary stories. You're about to tell one.
Yeah.
We're about to make one.
Yeah, exactly. There's a guy in our tent. No.
Oh,
but so
Christ.
This guy's telling us a story. We're like, oh my God, he's drunk. We don't know him. He's got a gun, and he's just erratic. So we're like, okay. All right, dudes, well, we're going to go to bed. So it's probably like 1:30. Go to bed. By the way, I forgot to tell you, my tent is about maybe 25 feet from his truck.
Yeah, no.
I have no earplugs. So I go to bed, and they just proceed to play fucking that speed metal all night long. All fucking night long.
How did you not just leave?
Well, A, because we already set up there. We were, like, not going to just leave in the middle of the night.
Like we did.
And B, this guy was drunk and had a gun. I was like, hey, dude, can you turn down? I was like, I'm not even going to, like, go there because he was, like, emotional.
He was in a dark place.
He was a dark soul. And they were there for their buddy who had passed away. It was just like, oh, my God. So basically, we laid there, and it was, I'm not even kidding you, it was just past 4:30 when they finally turned off the music and went to bed. And so it was just fucking god-awful.
It was the quietest sound you ever heard.
The quietest sound I ever heard.
Did they snore or fart in their sleep?
No, not that I remember.
Well, that's nice.
But
it's polite of them.
yeah, so camping etiquette, man, critical.
That one friend that you brought that one time to Ironwood and Big Bear,
Oh, the snoring?
the snoring guy, I wanted.
Which
to
one was I there?
I wanted to beat him up.
When?
He's never going to hear this, but it's my buddy David that I worked with at Verizon.
Oh, I was there, right?
Oh, you were
It was
there.
bad.
Like you said, it was sound like a goddamn bear.
It was like
It was the entire
Like a
night.
horse.
There was
Yeah.
no like those dudes
There was
at
no
least turned
reprieve.
off the thrash metal at 4:30 a.m. So you got like a couple hours of sleep from like 11 p.m. because he had gone to bed before us to like he woke up after us. So there, it was just like
oh, we were
there was
mad.
no
We woke
sleep.
up mad. I was like, don't go camping if you do that. Like, if you know you're like that, don't go sleep next to a bunch of people you don't know or
Yeah.
anybody.
Marian just started throwing shit at his tent.
In the middle of the night, I was like throwing sticks and shit at the tent. Because if it was my husband, I would just push him or be like, you know, like,
Totally.
hey, knock it the fuck off. Like, I don't care. If I wake him up, stop snoring.
Snorer.
Yeah, he was a snorer.
Not cool.
Wildebeest.
I was angry the next day.
Yeah.
Now I travel with my earplugs no matter where I go.
Oh, it's so funny. I have them too.
Because you never know.
You
and
never
I
know.
don't want somebody else to ruin my night.
Yep.
I go to hotels and I have to bring them because
Yeah.
when we went to Palm Springs, there's people next to us just slamming the door just over and over, just
Yeah.
partying.
You never know, man. Yeah, when I came camping with Paul, I thought he might be a snorer, so I was like, oh, I better bring some earplugs. But
Well,
he's not.
good.
Yes, I always wonder, like, we're talking about, like, scary stuff and ghosts and supernatural. It's like, I think it's like there's energy in us that, like, either stays on the earth or, like, I don't know. I think certain people are magnets that amplify it.
I think if you're listening, you'll hear it. I think you get what you ask for.
Yeah.
And if, like Nick, you're not interested,
No.
you don't want anything to do with it, you want to keep your head down and you're really grounded and of this earth and of this time. And I've always been interested in it only because, like, growing up Catholic, you grow up with these one set of stories.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up in my late teens. I started hearing about Buddhism, Hinduism, all these other different stories. And then at the same time, you're kind of exploring the world. And the more I opened my mind, the more I'm like, okay, this is not all it. And I think when you go to that darkest part of yourself and you reach those lows in your psyche, like you'll reach for anything to get out of it. And I opened myself up to a lot of different things, like he was saying, like astral travel and lucid dreaming and just anything to keep me from not wanting to die. And also it's kind of like feeding that curiosity.
Yeah.
And also the fear of death. It's kind of like a two sides of the coin where you fear it, but you want it. And
You want to discover more about it, right?
yeah, you want
Yeah.
to know everything you can to know about it.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah,
And in
like-
Catholicism, they don't give you anything. They just say, oh, you're going to die. You're going to just go on this cloud and it's going to be fluffy and white and there's gates. And it's like, okay, well then fucking what? Because I know all about stories. I'm a storyteller. And if everybody's all good up there, where's the ups and downs? Where's the conflict? Where is what is interesting about heaven?
Right.
You know, it
There's
doesn't
no
sound
reports.
very
No one
fun to
reports
me.
back on heaven.
Yeah.
It's true.
And then you think back to, I don't know, I guess like I have been depressed lately, and I was listening to some YouTube shit that helps me. And I heard something interesting that was like, well, we usually hear the saying is like, what goes up must come down, but she was arguing that what goes down must come up. So if you're depressed, you're like, okay, well, you know, you don't know what you don't know what high is unless you had low.
Very true.
And it kind of dawned on me that I love life so much. I love people. I love so many things about what it is to be alive right now.
Mm-hmm.
Like just being right here and camping in the stars and talking with people and like really talking with people, like one-on-one stuff, and getting to know them and learn about our history on this planet and what it is to be human. Whatever. I love it so much that the thought of it not being there is overwhelming.
Yeah, so you want to have some insurance that, like, oh, what's next? What's
Right.
the next adventure? Yeah.
But the depression comes in, and then you try to convince yourself you don't want anything to do with it, because if it's not as bright, if things have been rough, it's easier to convince yourself to just want to die instead of try to fight for those things that you remember that you love so much and get back to that.
Yeah, I've always felt like if I'm feeling down or depressed, that it's like, I know I've got to come back up, but at the same time, I feel like I am earning, it sounds crazy, but I feel like I'm earning credit towards, because you gotta, like you said, you gotta know what it's feel like when you're down to appreciate the highs.
Yeah, it's all about appreciation.
Right, so I'm like, oh, the lower you go, then that means that much higher it's going to be. So I'm always
Right.
like, come on.
Bring
back.
it. Give me something good, please. But when you, like, I've just been in a drought of good.
Yeah.
And nature's been the only thing to fill me up.
Yeah.
And I, like...
Is that still the case, like, even right now in this moment?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I begged him to come.
Yeah.
Well, when the second I heard you mention it, I was like, please, 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 dear God, like, let's do this.
Yeah.
But when we went to Zion, we drove to Colorado for a wedding. On the way back, we stopped in Zion just for one night.
Mm-hmm.
And all the odds were against it. Well, there was a lot going up against us. We had to drive from Grand Junction to Zion. That was like a 5-hour drive.
Okay.
We checked into these tents.
Yeah, those are awesome.
Glamping tents. It was
Yeah.
really beautiful, well
Yeah,
done.
How much
but,
were those, like, per night?
It was like not that much. It was like maybe
150?
well, it was like 200, but
Okay.
she had gave us like a discount. But it was gorgeous for the first 20 minutes. Then I was on the bed. This is crazy. I was on the bed and I was like, Nick, this is so perfect. I'm just waiting for the ball to drop. Not kidding. Within the minute, huge winds just rip through the campground. 50-mile-an-hour winds until 4 a.m. the next morning, just whipping
Wow.
through. We had to go to the group tent, and we
Okay.
hung out in there. We all had some beers. They had like a sunken fire pit in there.
Was it beating up your tent the whole night?
Oh
while you were
God, it
sleeping?
was just whipping around,
Wow.
and like I had my earplugs. Thank God,
Wow.
he was up all night, but it had like the winds were so crazy that it like destroyed my car. Like the paint was like matted.
It sandblasted the back of her car,
Yeah.
and one of her rear view mirrors is completely
Just
sandblasted.
like can't see through it.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
I gotta see that someday.
So
It's wild.
I called them. They're really nice about it. And they like gave us our room for free, and I can come back. Not like they had anything to do with the weather, but I was
Yep.
like, I just think y'all should know that maybe you should give us a heads up. Like if you know there's gonna be a windstorm,
Yeah.
I'll go stay at the Holiday Inn
Yeah.
or whatever. But so that was against us. We woke up the next morning, like the window in the car was cracked. Not gonna say who left it open. And I guess the wind was so powerful that knocked the light on in the car or something, so we couldn't get the engine to start.
What?
And then finally we got the engine to start, and then we did, but we couldn't see the speedometer. All that was black.
Okay.
And we had a 7-hour drive ahead of us after we were going to hike Zion that day. So we had like a few hours in Zion. And we almost let it fuck us up, you know? We were like not in a good place, like just both pissed. He fixed it, thank God. YouTube videos, amen.
Wow.
That's the Catholic coming through, the old one, the old Catholic. And but we made it. We finally made it. He fixed it. We get to the campground, or we get to the Zion. It's the most magical place in the entire world.
Yeah, you got
And
to do the Narrows.
we hiked the Narrows.
Yeah.
It's like beautiful.
What do you guys
How
think
high
about
were
that?
those mountains? Like when you're cutting through, you're walking up river,
Yeah.
in a river.
You're talking about
And
how
we
high
had-
are the chasms? Like the
Yeah. How many feet is that?
Oh man,
Thousands.
it's
It's not 1,000.
it's
1,000? It's
gotta be
definitely
like
hundreds.
They were
Hundreds,
saying-
yeah.
They were saying thousands
of
in reference
feet.
to some of those mountains.
Well, the
while we were
mountains, but
driving.
not the one, not like
Maybe
the
not the
crevice
Narrows.
we were walking through.
Yeah.
So we had
Yeah.
to have special pants up to like, you know, our.
Yeah, the Narrows are
navel.
something special. I would say hundreds of feet. And can you imagine if just one of those pieces just broke off?
Oh, we
or
thought about that.
flash flood.
Well,
and-
that's what made us think about it. Go ahead.
Yeah, and I think that I had known somebody who had a relative in high school that had actually died in one of those flash floods, or like two relatives, and I didn't tell you that before we went. But
Geese was there one weekend where 8 people died in there.
shut up!
She was in Zion.
Oh my
She was
God.
hiking. She wanted to do the Narrows, but you couldn't unless you were. It was like kind of closed off. But her and her friends were hiking some other areas, and they had to actually seek refuge in. It was raining so bad they actually were in the visitor center. But yeah, that weekend there were 8 professionals who had rappelled into the canyon, got trapped in there during a storm, and they died. All of them drowned.
Oh my God! Well, they have warnings where it's like there's a we went obviously when it was like yellow, like no, not gonna rain today, because you definitely don't want to be in there when it's raining, because that's when the water levels rise and
Right.
you're fucked. Like, and we were in there and there's nowhere to go. Like unless you are a skilled rock climber, you're done.
Yeah, you're toast. Can you imagine all that debris? Because there's so much wood in there. There's so much
Just
brush
gonna
just
coming after
gushing
you.
at you. It would just, you're done.
But we didn't think about that.
Yeah.
It was just so beautiful. The water was like crystal clear, and I'd never seen anything like that. We were just in awe. And like the next few days, I get home and I felt so full. Like I've been waiting for good things to happen, and it just goes to show. It showed me that I just needed to like feel extreme peace for a little bit and see the beauty of the world and be reminded of like how great it is that we're on this planet and how
Yep.
pretty it is. And
Do you ever think of it that it's L.A.?
what do you mean?
That like maybe you need to be in the country? Maybe you need to live in nature?
Oh yeah,
All the time.
all
Yeah.
the time. I mean, I've always felt a pull since I was young to be in Hollywood. Like before I even knew what it was, I feel like I saw the Hollywood sign in my. Like the second I saw it, I was like in a commercial or something.
wanna
I was
be
like, I
there.
want to be there.
Yeah.
And now that I'm here, I've spent 13 years. I have like a new vision. It's like the Pacific Northwest. I just see like I've just been called to like the tall green trees, big thick sequoias, running water, just peace.
Yeah, there's something, I think that's what calls to me too. It's like always, like even just moving away from LA to like Rancho Cucamonga, it's just like being closer to nature is just like, oh, I feel so much better.
Your soul's like at ease.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been living in condos, apartments, for so many years, and you feel that energy of everyone around you on top of you.
Right,
The struggle it is to all like agree on how you're gonna live.
right.
The sounds of the city, and there's always somebody doing construction, and
Yeah. And you talked about earlier, like that You're very empathic that you
I
absorb
feel
energy.
everything. I
Right.
absorb it all.
Right.
And for the first few years in my condo, the neighbor above me, she was just had the worst energy. She was so mean. She's just like this evil witch lady that tried to lord over everyone, and you could feel it. And I was like, I own this place, but I don't feel like I really own this place.
Yep.
And it was just too much for me. And finally, like, I let it go. I let her go. But it was a lot of work. It's just a lot of work just to be.
Yeah. I think a lot of it for me, because I consider myself empathic too, that I can sense when someone's kind of upset or having a bad day or needs something emotionally. So I think being away from, if you think about it, if you're picking up on all that chaos, and I think it was just fucking with me after a while, I just couldn't do it. But I think being where it's quieter, where there's less chaos and just like more nature and outdoors, I feel like it's like almost, if you're a magnet that it like lets the waves, or if it's like a cup of water, it's all shaken up, you know,
Right.
and then you just kind of let the cup
There's no waves
chill.
for me to pick up out here, and you to pick, and that's why I love it so much, and that's why I'm so
Yeah.
like some cars just drove through. I didn't like that, but like,
The late night
did
campers
not like
showing up.
what are you doing? Go. I don't know. Maybe they were looking at the stars where we were looking at.
Yeah, maybe.
Locals, yokels. We were just talking about empathy. Yeah, out here it's quiet. It's why when we go camping, I've like the past few times we've gone, it's just been a few of us.
Yeah.
And I have loved that. But before, it would be 20 or 10. It's just too much.
Yeah.
Because I'm bringing that energy with me. And the
Yeah.
whole point is for me to be quiet or just to talk with a couple people.
I agree.
I can only give so much of myself.
There's something also about when there's less people around, there's more opportunity for growth as far as like just diving a little deeper with people, you know what I mean? As
Yeah.
opposed to being superficial, hey, let's drink or play a game or
I
do
don't want
this.
to talk about your work and what you're,
Yeah, exactly.
your career or whatever. Just cut the bullshit.
I
It's like
agree.
a party I don't want to be at.
Yeah. Yeah, so sorry for all those friends who may have not got the invite.
Oh, yeah. I love you so much. Let's do this like
Exactly.
3-on-1 next
You're
time.
on my list, I swear to God.
And we really did this last minute. So sorry.
Sorry.
Is that like not gonna get any likes on Instagram? Wah, wah.
Exactly. You know what that reminds me of? Like that saying, sorry, not sorry? God,
Yeah.
it's so annoying.
But do
Sorry,
you feel
not
that way? Is that why you're bringing it up?
Well, I was just, that's what's stuck in my head, but it's like so like cliche. Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah.
You know?
Going back to the empathy of the whatever.
Nick's been very quiet tonight.
He's always a quiet guy.
You got
I don't
diarrhea?
have a mic, so I'm trying not to be an asshole.
Oh, dude.
Oh, he's like the.
These mics are so good, they'll pick you up.
He's the director.
Yeah, I'm just your Jamie.
Young Jamie.
Yeah,
This is young Nick.
yeah.
Tree hugging is like Xanax for me.
Yeah.
It sounds really, really goofy as shit. But when you hug a tree that's been in that ground, like one of these, for how old do you think that tree is?
You know what? I haven't hugged a tree today. I'm going to do it.
Go hug it. Because
I'm going to hug this one.
this like wash of calm. I have like extreme anxiety. But if I hug a tree and I know that it's super still, it can't come alive and hurt me. Not that that's it. I don't even think
I'm a
that.
damn tree hugger.
You are now.
Yeah.
It's rooted
That
so
does feel good,
deeply in
man.
the ground. There's
Yeah.
just something so peaceful about it. And these trees have seen everything. And
They've
they're
seen a
still
lot, man.
here. They've seen all the presidents and all the wars
Yeah, no shit.
and all the psychopaths. And they're still there. Something very nice about that.
Yeah, man. This is the last weekend that this spot's going to be open.
I feel like that's premature, but maybe like global warming.
Yeah, there are some other spots. Like Ray's Creek is awesome because it's got that bar. We still got to do that.
Which,
Yeah, we were
across
talking
this
about that.
this canyon?
So you could see it. So you know where the market
Yeah,
was, where
yeah,
about
you
the wood?
pointed it out.
You take that road down there for probably a half hour, and it'll be on your left.
Is that what that site where you say the sun's beating down on you and there's like a creek?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you'd need the sun if it was gonna be super cold.
There's a couple spots you can get that have tree coverage, but there's a lot of bugs right now. It needs to get a little bit cooler, and then the bugs go away.
Yeah, no bugs. We haven't seen any bugs up here.
Yeah, I don't mind bugs, but when I say bug, I'm talking like gnats.
Yeah,
like
no.
tons of them.
I get it's so distracting.
It's
Like
annoying
I
as fuck.
really like being. This is
Yeah.
always. This has been pretty successful campground every time we've come.
Oh, this is
if there are
home run every
gnats
time.
or mosquitoes, it can really ruin it.
Yep. Here's great because we get a lot of wind, but not
It's cool.
not a tremendous amount where it's annoying, but enough that it blows the bugs away.
There's no bears. There's deer.
There's deer. But
We saw a deer on
Saw
our
a
way up
hunter.
to see this.
yeah, we saw a hunter.
We saw a hunter walk straight through.
Yeah, apparently you can. What did he say? He bought a tag over the counter?
Over-the-counter tag for deer.
That's
We're at that
fucking
market
nuts.
down there where we stopped.
Who knows?
Yeah, so I was about to piss.
Are those
and I was about
legit? Those hunting tags.
I was about to whip my dick out, and I start seeing something rustling through the trees like 20 yards away. And he's in full camo, so I was like, what the fuck is that? And then he gets closer, and it like looks like a dude with a gun. I'm like, oh, okay. Glad I didn't whip my dick out. And then he just walks up on me, and he's clearly hunting. So I asked him. He said he had an over-the-counter deer tag, and he was trying to get through our camp to get up in the valleys there. And then we heard a gunshot. Like,
Yeah, we did, and it
3
just
hours
made me
later.
really sad. And we all ate vegan hot dogs tonight.
We did.
we did.
We were green eaters tonight.
We were good. And it was good. Too. It was surprising.
Yeah.
And I told him, I said, happy hunting. And he said, happy peeing.
He said that.
Yeah.
You know, when I saw him, it kind of like gave me this feeling like if he was in camo for like war reasons. Like, can you imagine living in Afghanistan or something and you're camping or you're just cooking for your family in your huts right there, and you just see like 20 people marching by with those guns? Like, how disturbing. I didn't like seeing that guy with his big gun on him.
Yeah.
It's a little weird.
I know you're really into hunting right now, so
Yeah, but
you
still,
thought it was cool.
Still, you're like camping.
I kind of liked it,
I don't
actually.
want to think that we could get shot, though. I mean, how could we?
Nah, because he has to be, like Nick was saying, he has to be a certain distance before he can even discharge his weapon legally. Now, granted...
Yeah, but how do we know he's not hunting human beings? I've listened to a lot of
You're
this
right.
murdering podcasts, and I'm sorry, I am
we're
not
assuming,
okay with it.
We are
We're
assuming
assuming he's a
positive
good
intent.
guy. What the fuck?
Absolutely.
He could be hiding up here in these trees, just
I'm
waiting.
Not assuming positive intent. I was just relaying
I don't
what
think.
he
I
said.
think it should be illegal for
So
that
you
guy
think
to
he
have
could
a
be an
gun
assassin?
around.
Nick's,
Could be.
he could be an assassin.
I just feel like if he were an assassin, like you just walk through the middle of someone's camp.
Well, yeah, okay. He didn't have that energy.
True.
I didn't feel it either.
Might
But
need a little more discreet.
I'm sorry, but with the Vegas shooting and all, like, I'm not okay with people just carrying weapons and walking around me.
Mm.
I don't trust people.
Yeah, I hear you. I trust people out. Isn't that funny? I trust people out here. Like, I greet everybody that I
This
see
is a
out
nice
here.
camping ground.
It is. But, I mean, just camping in general. It's like people who camp are awesome.
Oh, yeah, way less frightening.
Yeah.
than
And I think...
any, like, walking down the street in Hollywood.
Yeah, right? True. But people who camp are more likely to be, like, good people. I know it sounds crazy, but I feel like if you can actually unplug and disconnect and connect with
Oh, you're not
something that's
buying the
greater than you.
bullshit that, like, society is selling on, you know, the city streets
Yeah,
with their monies and
Yeah.
their things to buy.
yeah.
Well, that just really creeped me out, especially with these, like, horror stories. And I'm listening to this other podcast called My Favorite Murder. There's a lot of
My
psychopaths
favorite
out
murderer?
there. Yeah, and they always usually end up, like, they talk about serial killers and...
So, I had to rip one.
All right, Greg just tried to... Oh, my God! Nick just almost fell into... Stop it.
No, I was trying not to step on your foot.
We almost fell into the fire. So Greg ripped ass, and
Yeah.
then Nick stood up to escape it and almost fell into the fire. You could be serial killing us right now.
I could be your favorite murderer, maybe.
You would be my favorite
I
if
would
you,
be your favorite
even if
murderer.
you killed us.
Awesome.
Don't kill us though.
So, my favorite murderer, it's someone comes on and says, "This is my favorite murderer."
No, it's two girls, and they're like, they went to IO, they're comedians, and they
Okay.
both bring a murder, and they announce it. They go back and forth. So one tells one for like half an hour, and the other one tells one for half an hour. And it's
Gotcha.
really good. And they just retell stuff that's already been out there. It's not like they're
Gotcha.
inventing the wheel, but reinventing the wheel.
I can't
But it's
imagine
entertaining. And
taking someone else's life. It seems so bizarre.
it's psychopaths, though. It's like
Yeah.
they
Well,
don't
I mean,
think about they don't value other people's lives. They don't
True.
value their own.
Yeah, but just in
It's like a
general, like
game.
in war, like I could do it.
Mm.
It would have to be a righteous cause, though.
Well, if you're
you know-
defending yourself, it
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah.
But just to go out there and fool around and get off on.
I smell some burning rubber. Just
Yeah.
like
Oh shit! Is that my foot? Wait, look at it. Did I screw up my shoe? Is it hot?
it's hot, but
Oh fuck!
yeah, it's fine. It's not melted.
I thought these were better shoes than that.
Mine are hot too, actually. I think I had them on there a little bit too long.
Mm.
You smell that rubber?
I do. I
Yeah.
did. It's gone now. Thank you. Saving my feet.
Yeah, but yeah, that Spooked podcast is great, right?
Oh, I really liked it.
Yeah.
But now I'm gonna be really spooked.
Oh man, if I can make a suggestion, just listen to it in bed at night.
No, no, I won't.
That's
I
pretty
won't.
amazing.
If I wasn't sleeping with Nick in a tent tonight, I would not be okay.
Yeah. There's a couple in there that there's a border patrol agent who has a couple stories in there about the Otay Mountains
Like that.
that they're pretty fucking creepy stories actually. But we should
I mean,
listen to another
the
one
thing
before we
about
crash.
those stories, they're really well told. Whoever wrote them, or they're definitely not saying them off the cuff, like the way that I was telling you my experiences earlier.
Yep.
There were some ums and likes and buts, and I would correct myself. These were really polished and really detailed, and you could see everything that they were saying. It was just a really well-crafted story, which doesn't make me doubt them. They either said it so many times that they know what they're
Right.
saying, or they wrote it down before and rehearsed it.
I think it's produced, but I think the story is true. You know? Like, they're probably like, could you write it down? Great. We're going to tell you the story. Because how he solicits those stories is he asks people to, like, he's like, record a voice memo and send it to me and let us know if you've got a scary story. And they pick from that.
So pretty much anybody can learn.
Anybody can do it, yeah.
Well, so anybody can make up a story.
I mean, anybody could make it up, but, I mean, unless you're a sociopath, why would you make shit up?
Well, there are a lot of sociopaths out there,
Yeah, maybe.
unfortunately. Hence, a whole Making a Murder podcast. I've listened to 90 episodes. That's 180 psychopaths.
Yeah. Like the story I told you guys, like, there are probably maybe on my hands the amount of people that have told that story to.
Huh. Well, not
It just
anymore.
doesn't come up, you know what I mean? You don't, hey, tell me about your experience with the supernatural.
Oh, I'll like ask anybody. That's all I want to know.
First.
Tell me the weirdest shit that's ever happened to you. Tell me your darkest secret.
Have you ever seen we talked about UFO stuff. I've seen UFO stuff.
I've seen some weird stuff.
Yeah.
But you don't know. You see stuff, feel stuff, hear stuff, but there's no way for us to know. Like I was saying before, we're just learning so much about our own bodies, like nutrition, medicine. We have like machines now where you can put your body in it and get a full MRI, whatever.
We think.
We don't have the tools to figure all this stuff out yet.
I agree.
There's so much we don't know. And I think if we survive,
Oh, sorry, honey. Go ahead.
There's
No.
so much we're still learning about.
yeah,
Our
if we
bodies.
make it through this environmental disaster,
I feel like,
Um,
yeah, what's the next?
then I think there's more of a movement to figuring out more about ourselves and why we're here.
Well, if you think about all the crazy stuff that they're doing with like stem cells and life extension, things like that, it's like at some point death may be avoidable. I mean, we're talking a long time down the road, but even some of the crazy shit they talk about, like that Joe Rogan talks about, some of the stem cell stuff in his episodes,
Well, I
kind of
mean,
nuts.
yeah, they talk about you being able to upload your memories into something and where you kind of exist in a computer.
I always tell Geese that. I'm like, they're going to upload. She's like, they can't do that because she's so stuck in like the medical side of things. I'm like, they're going to figure it out. She's like, no, they're not. No, it's not going to happen. I'm like, you'll see. And there's going to be like a pocket Greg, a little download.
We are I think that all humans right now, we are an organism on this planet fucking it up. And why would it be in the greater, if we're all one, even the trees and the animals and whatever, how would it be in their best interest for us to upload ourselves? How are we?
I don't think we're fucking up. I think the old guard is dying out. I think things are changing.
Yeah.
I think
It's
like
going to get bad before it gets good?
no, I don't think it's going to get bad actually.
You don't think it's going to get worse than it's already gotten?
No.
There's a new shootings every other day. There's new hurricanes.
Oh yeah,
and
but shootings and
the
I'm not talking.
super volcano in Yellowstone.
That's always going to happen because people are crying for attention. I don't think we're going to be able to get away from that. But I mean, just yeah. When you said that, my mind went to environmental and like how we're going to like even. I feel like
Ooh, this fire's getting close to me.
yeah. I feel
I'm
like
about to be a
with
toasted marshmallow.
the whole vegan movement and all that kind of stuff. I feel like we're all making bigger strides to
we
be
are,
better.
but what if it's too late? And I get that the kids that we're gonna raise are gonna be far more aware of our impact as humans on the planet.
Yeah. I don't. Yeah.
But is it gonna be too late?
Yeah. I don't know. That's a good question. I'm not smart enough to have an answer to that, but
I would say I would think scientists would say no, but humans, we've worked around some bullshit. But there's never been this many of us covering this much of the Earth's surface
true.
with this much industry.
I wouldn't be surprised if we're gonna get hit with a like super bug, like a disease or.
Well, probably from meat, and I'm glad I'm not eating it.
Hey, do
right
you know
now.
like the Spanish influenza killed a ton of people, and that was like it was over 100 years ago now, but it wasn't that long ago. We're talking over 100 years, like thousands of people died. From
Nature
the
corrects
fucking flu.
itself. Like we are right now a disease on this planet, and it'll find a way to get rid of most of us.
I don't think we're a disease.
Well,
I think
we're not.
yeah, I think
When we
yeah,
get our
we're not.
egos involved,
Yeah,
we're not a
exactly.
disease. Do I think collectively we are abusing our place here? Yes.
I think I feel like I feel like our generation is starting to figure it out, and like our children are going to be so much more mindful about being green and helping the earth
Our
and all that kind of
children
stuff.
will be.
Yeah.
I don't know that about the rest of the world. I mean,
Yep. But I think in
What is
25
that
years,
bug?
holy shit!
that's a
Did
big.
you just happen to see him?
Yeah.
In 25 years from now, when our kids are in their mid 20s,
Oh, and he just killed it. Okay. Honey, it's not in our tent.
We just saw-
Is our tent zipped up, by the way?
so Nick is your favorite murderer right now.
Oh, I guess so.
Nick just squashed this big wolf spider. Oh, there's a flying ant.
Okay.
Yep.
Is our tent zipped up?
I'm gonna go check.
Well, man, I really hope so. Oh,
Yeah.
I mean, I love the wilderness, but I'm a little scaredy cat. I just don't like to be bit. Whenever there's a bug situation, I'm always bit, and Nick's never bit.
Yeah, I'm the same way. They feast on me. Do you get bit by mosquitoes at Gagnon's? At Matt's place?
Yes.
Dude, totally, right?
Yeah, yeah.
That's why I only now wear long sleeve. God, I can't talk.
Long sleeve.
Long sleeve, long sleeve, and long pants because I just get
Your
lynched.
blood is sweet.
Apparently, this is a raging fire.
It
This
is, so we have
amazing.
to stay up till it's done.
Yeah, we can break. We can. It's gonna burn. It's burning hot. It's gonna go fast.
I'm gonna need some Carmex for my lips.
And my lips are a little dry too.
Well, it's the last official camping.
Yeah, we got to go out with a
Fire
bang.
Wisdom. You gotta.
Oh, an end of the world quote.
Yeah, this is.
With us talking
You're right,
about
this
the
is
end
gonna
of
be-
humanity and how nauseous we are.
No. Yeah, exactly. No, I think we're
Noxious. I was like,
Noxious.
there's something wrong with what I just said. Noxious.
I feel like our kids are going to be, so 25 years from now, I don't think we can destroy the earth in 25 years.
No.
And I think we're on the positive swing. We're on the upswing. So I think it's only going to get better.
I think once our, like, there's just a certain generation that needs to die off.
Yeah. There are people stuck in their ways.
Yeah, they don't like change.
But if you think about it, like the progressive ideas of like even, you know, homosexuality or gender identity and all that stuff is like really changing. And I think it's kind of nice that you're seeing acknowledgement of all those situations. So
I do like that. I feel like all of this is just coming to a head, though. All of this is coming out. And I don't know if that's just because how old we are. You know, like we're 30, you know, mid-30s. Like, did our parents think this when we were, when they were in their mid-30s? Did they think, oh, this is all coming to a head? Like
That's
this
true.
rock and roll music and like we have phones now or beepers or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, my dad was mid-30s and like the mid-70s when I was a kid. That's crazy. What was he thinking? I kind of wish, like, do you guys keep a journal?
Yeah.
She does.
Isn't it cool, like, would you ever let your kids read your journal?
No.
No?
I don't think anybody should read it. I
No?
kind of question why I have it.
But maybe someday when you're not on this earth, you would let them read it. Like, you're not going to destroy it, right?
I mean, if they want to get bummed out.
No, but don't you think it's a window into your
Psyche?
mind? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, Nick's on a spider hunt.
Fucking Steve Irwining this bitch.
What are you doing?
Why are you getting freaking out? Like, really? That's what you're thinking about right now? Spiders?
That spider could have been crawling on you and I the whole entire time.
Ugh,
We would never
come
have
on,
known it.
Greg. I don't want to hear about this.
I don't mind it. Actually, it's funny. I used to hate spiders, but for some reason, I don't know what changed. But now when I see them on me, I can like, I don't panic. I just like, get them off me. But
Okay.
the exception to that is if he looks at all like what I think might be a brown recluse, I have to just kill him.
Why are we talking about this now? See, I'm okay with talking about the end of the world, but spiders biting me, I'm not okay with. Now I'm going to whip my light out.
Brown
Did you check your wife,
recluse
Nick?
Looks like.
Oh, shit.
Honey, let's not light on fire with the spiders.
Ugh, there's one. Ugh.
What? No, there's not.
Yeah, huh? Oh, shit. It's right there. It's coming at me. See it?
Where?
Pissed now.
Where?
There's no need to kill it. Is it something that's going to kill us?
Oh, there. Let me see.
That's the wolf spider.
We're in their
Where?
territory
Is it legit?
now.
Where is
Okay,
it?
now check my body.
Right there.
Where is it?
Right there.
Holy shit.
Okay, now what is that? I know. Is there shit on me?
You
Oh,
wanna-
please don't. Now I feel like there's going to be something on me.
There's nothing on you.
Thanks a lot, Nick.
You're welcome.
Now I'm not going to be able to sleep.
Oh my gosh, that's
I'm
funny.
not drinking. No, I'm not going to be able to sleep.
They're not going to bite you. Even if... Yeah.
Well, I've got a lot of layers on. The stars are sick.
Did you drop your mic?
You know what's...
At one point.
You know
yeah,
what?
why?
Hear something
Is it
horrifying?
off?
You dropped it on the ground?
Yeah, why? Is it still going?
Yeah.
Okay, well,
That's
no
all right.
harm, no foul.
Do you want... don't walk too far because it'll start crackling.
Yeah.
So-
Keep going, honey.
I just want to see the stars for a
Yeah,
second.
look at them right here.
Well,
Dude, this is... So one time I was like... This is a while ago, but I was camping in Boy Scouts. And I like woke up the next day and like took off my shirt. And one of my buddies like, dude, you got a spider. And it was a fucking wolf spider that obviously had crawled into my shirt. And when I lay down to go to bed, I smushed it between me and my shirt. So it just dried, but dried stuck to me.
Ugh.
Isn't that crazy?
honey, I want to go stand out on that cliff over there. You know where we took we took a beautiful
don't need to go
panoramic
stand
with
out
the
on the cliffs.
rainbow sky. But it's a good spot to look out and see the stars. Greg, you want to come?
It'll crackle up the mics, won't it? How long have we been
Well, do you
recording?
want? We've been recording for a while. We can say good night, 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 night.
You want to say goodnight, then walk over there. And see
Yeah, I
if we
want to
get
say
any
goodnight.
extra credit.
What about extra credit?
I'm saying, like, if it doesn't crackle, then
Oof.
we'll have stuff from over there.
Mm.
But at least you have a closing here.
There you go.
Okay. Good night, good night. Well, it's time
You
to
sing-
go.
Are you going to bed?
No.
She's
Oh.
singing goodnight to Campfire Wisdom.
Oh, gotcha.
Yes.
Well, what's your
Campfire,
last
good
bit
night,
of wisdom?
Good night, good night. Well,
This might
it's
be our
time
last.
to
So
go.
we're going to have to obviously adapt Campfire Wisdom for the winter. So it might be Chimenea Wisdom. It
Yeah.
might be, might be Heater Wisdom.
Maybe I'll be blazing wisdom.
I mean, it might be Blazing Wisdom.
Oh.
Ooh.
Once we can return to
Once
the sacred
these two guys
sacred herbs.
become daddies to be, they can smoke again.
Once my girl is past the first trimester, it's gonna be party.
They like the heat.
Do they like the heat? Okay, that's
Probably a little
Spiders
bit.
like the heat. Right in to Campfire Wisdom and tell us the spiders
Yeah,
like the fucking
exactly.
heat.
Tell us.
right into Campfire Wisdom if you got a spooky story or if you got one
Actually,
of them
absolutely.
spiritual experiences, because I am so
I would
down
love
with
to hear
that.
it, man. Especially if it's a legit, spooky, scary
Yeah,
story.
and we were
or
talking about this
spiritual story.
earlier. It's like, why lie? What are we gaining by lying?
No one's gonna gain anything.
We're not getting, like, we want to know more about the world. We don't want to hear your bullshit.
And like I said, totally honest, maybe I dreamt all of it up, but it
Maybe.
felt real.
But it was real to
It's
you.
a part, and it's always been a part of me that it was actually
It affected
legitimately.
you.
It affected me exactly.
A campfire, good night, good night, good night. Well, it's time to go. I hate to
I'll do
leave,
an outro
but I
here.
really must say, good night, campfire. Good
Isn't
night.
that from 3 Men and a Baby, right? Good night,
Yeah, I
sweetheart.
mean, people
Well-
take that and use that tune for
Yeah.
whatever. And you know, I have a really bad voice, and I'm not trying to sing.
How long have we been recording?
Be
How
a
long has it gone?
singer.
An hour. Oh,
An hour.
That's good.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, you're getting a low battery. Hurry up and do an
Oh,
outro.
shit.
Well,
Well, thanks everybody for listening. This is Greg with Campfire Wisdom saying good night. Send me an email if you have any feedback, if you got a scary story or whatever. campfirewisdom@gmail.com. Adios.
Campfire Wisdom is brought to you from the hills of Rancho Cucamonga. We'd like to thank the men and women that protect our national parks and forests. You make this journey possible. Theme music by Sean Cromwell.